name is Kim Wall. I'm one of the senior technical specialists here at Microsoft. I'm actually part of the global black belt team that covers the Azure Defender for IoT platform. Today we'll discuss one of the features known as the Enterprise Data Integration feature. This allows you to add multiple columns of data and track things with the asset that you might not normally find within the packet coming off the wire. For example, you may want to track an asset owner or an asset location or its geo coordinates, for example. You can track things like expiration dates, warranty maintenance, life cycle information, as many columns as you want to track. And what I'll do in this module is show you how you may add information into those columns, both manually and dynamically. There are three ways to populate your custom columns once you have them created. The first way we'll look at is doing this manually. This is pretty much what you would imagine. You go into each cell and you add your data into your custom column. And this will be done within the central manager itself. Another option is to export the asset inventory data and then edit it in another tool such as Excel and then re-import it. Sometimes you can use the formulas and copy and paste in Excel. It might be a little faster. And then the third way would be dynamically using a script. If possible, obviously this is the preferred way. It's automatic and then refreshes periodically. So once you set it, you can pretty much forget about it. In this first example, in device inventory, we'll go to the gear icon located in the upper right hand corner, and we'll be presented with an option to add a custom column. And once we do that, we can give it a name and save it, but be sure and keep the column type as manual. And once the column is added, you can go into the cell, hover over it, and make additions and deletions, and go all the way down throughout your asset inventory that way. And let's take a look in the actual product to see what that might look like. So here we're in our central manager. I'm at the enterprise view now. I want to go to device inventory here on the left, the third one down. And this will list all of my assets that have been discovered across my entire environment, my global environment, in a spreadsheet type form. And you'll see at the top, I can filter and I can sort by any one of these headings. And if I go over here to the gear icon, as we've seen in the PowerPoint, I'm presented with all the columns that are currently tracked within the asset inventory. Now, this isn't all of the data in the database, but this is the ones that are presented through the tool. And notice not all the columns are checked, and I can rearrange these in any order I want. But we're going to focus on this option here, Add Custom Column. When I do that, we can add something like warranty expiration information. Once we've given it a title, we'll want to be sure and keep this as manual for now. And we'll save it. And if we scroll down to the bottom of the list, we'll see our new column now shows up as an option. And again, I can take this, I can move it up or down if I want to, anywhere in the stack here. I can delete it by hovering over the pencil. We're going to save. And when this comes back, I can scroll over to the right since I didn't move the column, and it's going to be on the end. And you can see the little pencil icon appear over any of these cells that I hover over. So if we want to add warranty expiration to this column, we'll click the pencil icon, and we'll just manually add an expiration date here. I can either hit enter or click the check mark, and when I do, that data is saved. So as implied, the manual method is just that. You'll go to each cell where you want to add your custom column information and add it that way. The next method is to be able to export your asset inventory and then modify it using a tool such as Excel. And to do this, within the device inventory, you'll click on the report looking icon in the upper right, select the export all device inventory, and then you'll open it as a CSV inside of Excel, and then there you can copy paste, you can add columns, use all the formulas that are available within Excel to make this a little faster process. And when finished, you'll want to be sure and save this as a CSV file again, so that when you go back to the tool, You can select the report icon and this time import manual input columns. And when you're finished, you'll get the successful notification. And then when you go back to your asset inventory, you'll see the columns that you added manually. Again, let's take a look at the product and see what this looks like within the tool. So within the device inventory, I want to select the report icon and export all device inventory. I'll save that just to my downloads directory for now. And I'll go to the directory. I'm going to open this with Excel. Once I have this in Excel, I can scroll over to the right. I see my new custom column with the warranty expiration. And I'll just pick one or two of these columns, add some data, have some expiration dates. And again, I can use the functions in Excel to copy, paste, and maybe populate this a little faster than I could within the Central Manager. When I'm finished making changes, I want to save as. And in my case, I'm going to give it a different name, but the important thing is to be sure and save it as a CSV file. That's the only way you're going to be able to re-import it back into the tool. And when that's saved, we can go to the Central Manager to see what that looks like after importing. So from the device inventory, select my report icon. This time I'm going to import the work that I just did. I'll browse and import that file that I saved. Once it's uploaded, I get a successful message. I'll close and let it refresh the inventory. Scroll over to the right, and now I see the additional columns or the additional data that I had added to the columns. That is the second way of manually populating a custom column. Now let's take a look at the third option. In this option, you'll once again go to the gear icon and add a custom column, give it a name. In this example, I'm going to pull some CVE information from one of the sensors using a script. So for the column type, I want to select automatic and then upload script and bring the script into the Central Manager. And once it's uploaded, I can do a quick test just to validate the structure of the script before I actually run it. Once it validates the test, I can come back over to the CVE column that I just named, hover over the pencil, and have the system update it now rather than wait for the normal cycle, which would be once every 60 seconds by default. Once it updates, you can go back to your device inventory and see the column of data now freshly populated with data. Let's take a look at the tool, see what it looks like within the Central Manager. So within my device inventory, go to my gear icon, add my column, which in this case is going to be CVEs. I want to make this automatic because I have a script to upload. Once the script is uploaded, I can test it for its structural soundness. As long as it's passed the test, I'll save. When I scroll down, I'll see that new column that I added. Then I've got some extra options here that I didn't have on this manual column. Since this is automatic, notice the pause icon here. So it's running through a cycle which will actually kick off this script every 60 seconds by default. Or I can click this icon and have it update now, which is what I'll do. It pops it into the schedule. It'll run it as soon as it possibly can. I'll save my work. And after a moment or two, I should be able to scroll over to the right and see the CVE column. It's now populated with data that it freshly grabbed from one of the sensors. It's helpful to pull in CVE information into this table, although you can get this information from two other places within the platform. One is the risk assessment report. When you run it, it'll show you CVEs per device, per the most riskiest device. And then the other area is going to be in the actual sensor itself, the data mining report, where you can pull a list of all the assets, all the devices, and show their associated CVEs. But it's also nice to have it here in the Central Manager because you can take advantage of these columns and do sorting and filtering and searching. For example, if I wanted to find or search and filter for all my assets that had a specific CVE, I could do that. Or all of my assets with a specific firmware, for example, by a specific vendor, and then see what those associated CVEs are. So there are some advantages in bringing it into this format as well. Now, in order to retrieve information from a sensor, you'll want to be familiar with this concept here, and this is generating an access token. So on the sensor itself, not the central manager, you'd go to System Settings and Access Token, and click Generate a New Token. Give it a name so that you'll know what you're generating the token for, and then you'll see the token. Now take a note that the token will only be showed right now this time. So once you click Finish, you'll never see this again within the platform. So be sure you copy it over to a safe place. And this token is what you could use within your script to safely make API calls. And in this way, you don't have to use hard code your user ID and passwords into any scripts. You just simply use a token. You can come back to the tokens within the sensor at any time and revoke them simply by deleting them, or generate new ones if you need a new one. So those are the 3 ways to populate custom column data within the Central Manager. 2 ways are manual, one within the platform, within the Central Manager itself, the other externally by exporting the assets, modifying in Excel, and then re-importing back into the Central Manager. And then the third way is dynamically by using a script to go out and grab that data from another source. And in my example, I grabbed that data from a sensor, but the data could literally live just about anywhere. It could be in an Excel spreadsheet, or CSV files, or MySQL files, or SQL databases. Anything that you can write a script to go grab data that matches it to, say, like an IP address or a name of the asset within our tool, would make it possible for you to use a script to do this automatically. Thank you for watching.